Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for crossing over 100,000 subscribers. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to our show today, which is the power of etiquette and manners. Etiquette and manners are so important in this world. I think it all is in alignment with teaching listening, respect, kindness, humility. So today we're going to be exploring our topic, which is digital decorum, etiquette in the age of social media and virtual communications. And of course, I'm not alone for this show. We are going to be joined by the star of our show, Mr. Philip Sykes, who is the president and the principal and founder of the British School of Excellence. The British School of Excellence has been helping people all over the world tap into what it is that etiquette really means. Is it more than what we think? It's holding open a door or pulling out a chair? Absolutely. And we've been exploring these topics for several years on this show. Let us welcome Mr. Philip Sykes, who is getting ready to go over to the United Kingdom, and he is going to be hosting a 2-week-long event, which we'll hear more about. So let's welcome Mr. Philip Sykes. Hello, Philip. How are you?
Dr. Jacqueline, a pleasure to see you as always. Very well, thank you. And how are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad that we are back doing this show because I feel there's so much that the world can still learn. We're all learning and evolving as we go. So before we get into the topic about digital decorum, Philip, we have people who are joining us every day. We have new people coming, whether they're listening or watching on the live or the replay. What is it that you and your team do at the British School of Excellence?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Here at the British School of Excellence, we elevate you to another level. We give you these quintessential tools. We actually give you an invisible toolbox that will help you just bring yourself to a level where you can literally walk into any given situation with such beautiful confidence, the right sort of energy, the right mindset. And if anyone thinks that etiquette and manners are for smart people, posh people, whatever you deem the upper classes, you couldn't be further from the truth. This is a quintessential tool that every single one of us should have instilled in us and ingrained in us from the moment we're born, because these tools and these skills will give you the opportunity to open any door that you want to open on your journey in life. And it is absolutely done through our organization with huge passion, with incredible experience. We have an amazing group and team of coaches and trainers, Dr. Jacqueline being one of them. Dr. Jacqueline went through our Train the Trainer program last year in November, and we have the privilege of seeing Dr. Jacqueline back in London a week after next, where she will be joining us on the London experience. And not only that, but she will be delivering a program and a course. And I say this from the bottom of my heart, that I believe and truly believe that every single person in this world should be taking. I don't really think the title gives it the oomph and the vavavoom that it really needs, but it is all about setting boundaries and asking permission. Are you giving yourself the opportunity to set the standards, set the boundaries, and really understand how to balance your life on your terms? Do it with gratitude, do it with grace, do it with respect, but on your terms. And that is just scratching the tip of the iceberg when I introduce what we do here at the British School of Excellence.
Thank you, Philip. I really appreciate that. And I have to say, for anyone who has not thought about becoming an etiquette coach, it really changes your life because, first of all, going through Philip's program, you meet people from all over the world and you get to experience other cultures. You get to brainstorm and you get this shared experience that you will never forget. So I really think everyone who can take the opportunity to invest in their own personal and professional development can take this course, the Train the Trainer course offered by the British School of Excellence, and you will be able to get so much value from it immediately and then throughout the rest of your life.
Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. And we literally, as you know, I often jump out of a frying pan straight into a fire. But yesterday I was having a conversation with Leanne, and you better mark a date in November to come down from where you are to Jacksonville, North Florida, because we are going to launch the first USA in-person live Train the Trainer here out of the United States of America. And it's going to be an incredible week. We're going to ensconce some further little activities outside the coaching and training to make it a little bit more, not that the Train the Trainer is not, it is relaxing, but it's not relaxing because it's a lot of coaching and training and wonderful information to take on board. But we will be incorporating some wonderful little surprises in that week. The date will be set in November, and it will be delivered out of the United States of America live in person.
Congratulations, Philip. That is very exciting. And I will be in the south of the U.S. in November, so that's a perfect time for me to come and join you. So
you'll be one of our guest coaches to be delivering some material and to enjoy the whatever days that you are able to join us.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor. So again, I highly encourage all of you. We will be showing the website. Here's the information for the British School of Excellence.com. Hello at the British School of Excellence.com. Invest in yourself, and where it will take you, you will be very pleased. So thank you. So our topic today is all about etiquette, manners in the world of social media, digital communications. And so, Philip, for me, I am on social media hours and hours every day because part of where we are present is on social media. Of course, we're on many other platforms as well. So we have a social media marketing team, but I do a lot of marketing as well because I like to see what is really resonating with the audience. So if you're someone like myself who's immersed in it, is it possible to actually get yourself out of it for a while so you can look back and see what it is that you're doing and if you're following etiquette and manners?
That's quite an interesting question. Yes, I do. I think from your standpoint, it's obviously an area that people in your shoes, so to speak, or per se, really have to be very careful of what's going on, A, globally, B, locally, and C, going on with where you are as someone who puts the show and puts yourself out there, because it's your platform at the end of the day. And I know, Dr. Jacqueline, you are very clear on rules, regulations, terms and conditions. And anyone who comes onto your shows has to sign a waiver and make sure that they can't put your brand in a bad spotlight. But having said that, that's neither here nor there. That can happen because someone doesn't follow the guidelines, or they come on board with the wrong attitude or the wrong approach. And I know you've dealt with some interesting characters over the years in this arena, but it is being online and being so exposed is a big responsibility, and there are definitely rules of engagement. And that, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at etiquette, it is about the rules of engagement. That is what etiquette is. Etiquette is not a list of boring old bits and pieces. It's really the traffic lights in society so that we don't bang into each other. They're there to serve us. So every single element of and aspects of our lives, whether you on a platform, a great platform that you've created over the years, and I really have to salute you in the sense of what you've done over the last 4 or 5 years, or 5 years. It's been quite incredible. You jumped out of the corporate career where life was very easy and you got your salary and blah, 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 and you went hell for leather to set this platform up to give people access to incredible education and incredible news and stories and that sort of thing. So what you're doing is phenomenal, but it has to be done on a very much a strict line where you have to follow that according to what is appropriate and what's not appropriate.
Thank you so much, Philip. We have a couple of comments I would just like to honor at the moment. From Push Child Foundation, Uganda, thanks for the show. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. And also from Zunette, also known as Nettie Lubbe. I did both Train the Trainer with Philip Sykes from British School of Excellence and Dr. Jacqueline's Elevated Listening course, and both courses changed my life tremendously. Thank you so much joining us from Cape Town and now officially on our team. Welcome, Zunette. So, Philip, with the role that you play, obviously it's multifaceted because you're running a business, right? So you're wearing your business hat and you're also a coach and a trainer. So you're involved in delivering the content. What are some of the things that you've seen in your experience when you're delivering content that the students, the attendees, the cohorts may be doing during the time that they're in your presence that maybe is something that they aren't even realizing what they're doing? And then I'll share my perspective from courses I've taught as well.
Yeah, you've put that very politely. It's mind-blowing how people feel, and this is something I know you're a big advocate on against, is people believe they can multitask. People think that they can do 2-3 things at the same time, and firstly, we can't. Secondly, it's rude. It's very disrespectful. And again, when we as coaches, as trainers, or whether you're a teacher in a classroom or a lecturer at a university or whatever the situation might be, it is paramount that students and the person delivering the material have an understanding that no interruption is appropriate. And that goes from the simple scenario of what we're talking about here is social media, as in your telephone. Your telephone is not important. The telephone should not be there. It shouldn't be in sight, and it should be not even on flight mode. It should be turned off. And funny enough, Dr. Jacqueline, I've got a long-standing student who's literally worked with me and the organization. She's done various courses. She's done EQ, she's done styling, she's done the power of etiquette and manners and going down the polished professional route, and she's been on a journey with me on the high performance coaching level. And she's a school teacher in Malaysia, in Manila, and we were talking exactly about what you are so polished at and so brilliant at delivering, and she will be attending the course via Zoom when you come to London on Friday on the 20th of June. And we were talking about her connection with students and how some of them come into the class, they're on their phones, they come in late, and she's starting her new semester with a completely different approach, and that is she's setting very clear ground rules and very clear boundaries. And she's going to do it in a way that the students either fit in or they leave. And there's no discussion, because it'll be set out from the word go, and everyone will have to follow on that path. And when it comes to coaching online or delivering like we do now, the USA Global TV, when we're not in a studio together, people will dip their eyes. People will look away. People will forget to charge their laptops. People will have background noise or background music. The lighting is not correct. There is so much behind the etiquette and the manners, the mannerisms when it comes to engaging in this medium.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And what I found is interesting. I know when I'm teaching class, I usually will set some ground rules. And what I'll say to the people is that we're watching you. We're watching your behavior. And, when I'm coming to London, we're having someone come and observe the students, not as a punishment, but just as a way to give feedback. So one thing I'll share is in the class, whether it's online or it's in person, please do not take any notes, because if you're taking notes when you're writing, you can't be listening. And what I see is people are taking notes. And so sometimes I'll just stop and I won't say anything, and everybody will be looking around, and the person looks up and I'll say, note taking. They'll say, well, I'm so used to taking notes. And then I'll say, but this is a course on listening. So we need to be open to breaking our dysfunctional patterns of behavior so that we can get new information. And the multitasking, people looking at their phones. And also, I love when people have glasses. I have glasses also, but I don't need them for the screen. But you'll see the reflection in their glasses that they're actually looking at something else while they're online taking the course. And I guess they think that I don't see that. But of course I see it. I'm not going to call them out on it, but I do know they're not listening at an elevated level. And the other thing that I found when I teach the course in person is little sidebar conversations. And one of their cohorts is speaking and 2 or 3 people are having a sidebar conversation. And so I will wait for the person to stop speaking, and then I will just turn and face the people who are doing the sidebar, and I'll just say, is there anything you'd like to share with the whole class? And then they'll say, and I'll say, well, can we please respect one another? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to get people to realize that this is what's going on in the world, and we're disrespecting each other by not giving the person the floor. I mean, it's a listening class, for heaven's sakes. And I noticed when I took your class, your course, which was incredible, there's a certain time that it starts. And sometimes people would just come in whatever time they wanted to. And I'll segue to something else and then go back to you. So yesterday, I decided to take 3 fitness classes. And the reason I did it was I knew today I wouldn't be able to work out at all. So I know that yesterday is not going to compensate for today, but mentally, it gives me some peace of mind. So by the time I was at the 3rd class, I was really tired, and I thought, I'm going to go up and tell the instructor that I can't take the class, because if you don't show up, then it goes against you and you can't book for a week or something. So anyway, I thought to myself, I am not going to do that to him, and I'm not going to do it to myself. I signed up for this class, and I am going to get it together and be completely and totally committed to doing the best that I can, because I don't want to disrespect him and walk out in the middle of the class. I don't want to disrespect myself. So that's what I did. And I've said this to you before. I see people coming to fitness classes, checking Instagram in between jumping jacks. They're looking at Insta. I'm like, I don't know. I don't get it. I have no judgment, but I don't want to be next to that person because they're not fully present.
It's become an addiction, though, Dr. Jackson. The more I've spent here in the United States of America, I'm absolutely appalled at how people are driving and on their phones, and hence why there's so many accidents. And it is absolutely, if we think we can multitask, that's one thing. But if you think you can look at your phone, your WhatsApps, and go onto your phones while you are driving, you are putting your life and everyone else's life in danger. You are a flying missile, a license to kill without a license, because really that is just absolutely, it should be, you should have your license taken away, not even a fine. And I know various countries have different rules and regulations for this, but that aside, when it comes to what you were sharing, and actually I did have a chuckle to myself, where it does help to wear a pair of glass or against an opponent in poker, is you're hoping your opponent is wearing a pair of glass so you can see his cards, but not when it comes to coaching and training, because you can see what someone is doing just through the reflection of glasses. So that's a bit of tongue in cheek. But at the end of the day, this is about being present, and it's about having the same etiquette and manners that you would have if you were engaging with someone else in a decent conversation at an event, at the dinner table, or having a coffee with them. And again, I don't know where this comes from, but as human beings, we obviously have addictive natures, and this is exactly where people are totally addicted to their telephones, their social media. Hence your example in an exercise class. Gee, I'm struggling to keep up. How do I have time or a moment to even look at my phone? And you're just breaking the whole sort of scenario. And I would put it in as perspective of me time, getting fit, focusing on being in the moment, having situational awareness.
Absolutely. And Philip, something that I want to share about that, you and I are both coaches. Obviously, we're TV presenters, we're business owners. And I really feel for other people who are in the same position as a coach, for example. And the reason I bring up fitness is because I've been a fitness instructor over the years in many different aspects. There's a lot that goes into getting ready to teach a fitness class. The music, for example, the playlist, like finding the right beats per minute and then putting each song in order, and then what's the routine going to be. And when people show up to take the class, sometimes it's almost like they have no interest in being there, and then you can see it's reflected in their behavior. And so a coach wants to get the best version of you. And we're not psychologists, we're not psychiatrists. We're doing the best that we can. We've put together the material that you put together. I've seen what you and Leanne have had to do for Train the Trainer, how much work it is to get it all together. And for the London experience, getting all of those events coordinated for a group of people, that takes a tremendous amount of work. Showing up to present a TV show, tremendous amount of work. So what I'd like people to take away from this is, please honor the people who are working their best to help you open up and embrace new experiences and define the best version of you.
You said that and you put that so wonderfully. And again, we as human beings need to understand it's not just clicking a switch and turning it on. There is so much groundwork. There's so much preparation. And not only that, there's also so much of setting the mindset within a trainer and a coach and a teacher. We never just walk into a room or a coaching or training session and just blurb into it. There is so much preparation, because every time you deliver a show, whatever we're doing, we want to bring our best self and better than we were the last time. And that's, going back to why you have made sure you've got someone observing you in the coaching and training in a few weeks' time, because feedback, feed forward, and we all need that. And so I know we're jumping around with sort of various insights into different aspects of what we're talking about, as in classes, coaching, social media, etiquette, and all that, but it all ties together. And if the sooner we realize as human beings that we can only do one thing at a time, and we can do that really, really well, because trying to multitask doesn't work, A. B, the social media aspect of our lives has literally taken over most people's lives. Therefore, we are missing out on so much more. Therefore, we're not gaining the benefits of our surroundings. We're not gaining the benefits of someone else's tuition, someone else's company, the nature that we're out in. We are really, really tripping ourselves up. And it's quite an interesting scenario. I think when we break things down into finances, or break down things into spending time on something that you absolutely love doing. If we break down the amount of hours that we are on our social media, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about looking at a WhatsApp message for work or looking at your emails on your phone. I'm talking about aimlessly scrolling. Yeah, you might stop on something. And yes, there is a lot of useful information on social media, but we can pigeonhole a certain time in the day to spend X amount of time in the morning and X amount of time in the evening. You're not going to miss out on anything on any level. But let's equate, if you're doing an average of 3 to 4 hours a day, as in wasting time on social media or doing something that is really a waste of time, and you put let's say a £50 rate per hour. Or you look at it this way: if you take 4 hours a day, you times that by 7, you take 52 times those hours, and all of a sudden you're into not just a few days, you're into about 6 weeks of your precious time that you've wasted scrolling aimlessly on your digital devices. And that is criminal, because time does not do refunds, and time will never allow you to get time back.
Very well stated. Excellent points. Thank you, Philip. I want to move into emails, proper etiquette and decorum when it comes to emails. One thing that I've noticed, and I'm not even going to say it's annoying because I don't want to put any emotional attachment to it, is cold calling via email, if you will. And people who clearly haven't done any research whatsoever when they contact me. So for example, one type of email that I get on a regular basis is whether or not I would like our commercial real estate buildings cleaned. Well, I don't have commercial real estate buildings that need cleaning, and I'll get numerous emails from the person, and I'm thinking, why don't you do some research, because you're wasting your time contacting me with this type of email. And then there's a follow-up and maybe 3 or 4 with like exclamation points. Did you see my email? So what are your thoughts about that in terms of someone looking to solicit business and that's their approach?
Well, as you said, you're wasting your time, not knowing your audience and not knowing a little bit about the background or the makeup of that organization. And I know it takes time to do that now. And I also appreciate that there's artificial intelligence, or the way I like to look at it is intelligence assistants. And those now come on automated. It's just an autopilot. But initially it took someone, a human being, to set this all up. And we would be so much more effective if we had a target, if we had a game plan, if we did a little bit more preparation in the beginning, and therefore understanding who our audience is and being able to then tend to their needs, wants, and hopefully their desires. And again, the world over, we all get these odd emails. Yeah, I'd like to help you with your blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, as you just said, I don't have X, Y, and Z. I don't have a big premises. I don't have 100 team members. I don't need VoIP phones for 100 new staff members. I don't need technical support on that level. And yeah, unfortunately, it's very much the approach, Dr. Jacqueline, where we'll just use the machine gun approach and eventually we might hit the target. And it is so frustrating for the receiver as well, because you want to check emails, because we do miss things. And every morning and every afternoon I'll check my spam, and guaranteed there are 1 or 2 emails that have gone into my spam that should have landed in my normal inbox, but the spam has filled up. Fortunately, we can start to send emails to spam, and hopefully our email system starts to learn what emails are spam, and we can filter that out, and we don't waste our time. One thing that I would love to give people guidance on is, if you do get an odd email like that, just do a very polite one-liner: to whom it may concern, this has nothing to do with my business. Please take me off your database. Kind regards. Always be pleasant, because it's very much, Dr. Jacqueline, I know I'm jumping now into more the telephone etiquette side of things. I mean, we all get cold calls. I know for a fact, if I said to you, how often do you get a spam phone call? I would imagine quite a few times a day. And you happen to answer that call, and it's not AI, because we now obviously have AI talking to us, and it's very hard in the beginning to decipher, is it a human being or is it digital? But my point is this: is whoever's calling you, let's say they're calling you to try and ask you about your medical health and do you need insurance, or what are you doing with your pension? Just say, look, I'm not in a position to discuss this with you. I don't need any of your support right now. Please take me off your database. There's no point in being rude to the person calling you. They're just doing a job. They're sitting in a position where it's their job to call out. So at the end of the day, I just say, please take me off your day. And then I leave it at that.
I love that approach. And I think also in alignment with that, when you have to make a telephone call to a company, for example, it could be your telephone internet provider. It could be your website provider, somewhere that you know it's going to take a long time. When I say a long time, sometimes you'll call even a government entity, the wait time is 60 minutes. Yeah. So when you finally get to a person, keep in mind that the person answering the phone is not the cause of your frustration. And many times people will just take it all out on the person. I've been waiting for over an hour for you to answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, all day long, the person is getting yelled at. Yeah. Probably. And I know that people have training in these areas, but still, we don't want to take out our frustration. If you hear that it's going to take 60 minutes, then put the call on hold, listen to the music. That's the part that drives me crazy. It's the music loop over and over and over again, or where they keep giving the same message. Your call is important. And I'm like, no, it's not, because I wouldn't be waiting this long. You would hire more agents. But anyway, the point being, find something else to do, set the expectation. You know you're going to have to wait, and keep the frustration limited, because that's what happens now. More companies are going with what you said. I think that was great about not artificial intelligence. What was it? Intelligence
assistance. Yeah, intelligence assistance.
I love that a lot. Okay, so also when it comes to an email, and I think this is a tough one because we are in a global world. You and I are dealing with all, time zones across the world. So you have to get a message out, and in the country that you're sending it to, they're sleeping. So what I will do is, and I try to be good about this, I'm not always perfect with it, but I will send an email as opposed to a WhatsApp message because the person might have their phone on for WhatsApp and it might wake them up. What are your thoughts about that?
Huge thoughts on this. And again, we've worked with many organizations in the luxury world where they feel they've got to tend to their high net worth clients and individuals at all hours. And it doesn't pay any dividends on any level. On the contrary, it actually starts to work on your mental state, your health, and your well-being. But that aside, I love the fact that we have to be conscious in sending messages at different time zones, because with all due respect, and I don't want to use this in a derogatory way, but if we're stupid enough to keep our phones on at all hours of the day, well, then that really is, we're not serving ourselves. I mean, there's so much research out there that we shouldn't even be sleeping with our phones even on flight mode in our bedrooms. There's statistics now out there that our phones should be on charge or wherever it is outside of your sleeping area. Having said that, I know people use their phones for alarm clocks and various different tools for reminders, but I will never personally go to sleep with my phone that is activated. It's on flight mode, and my alarm will ring. Hopefully it rings, and not too early if I can help it. But most mornings I'm up around 6-ish. Having said that, Dr. Jacqueline, emails are more appropriate, especially if you want to get a long message out there. That's the whole thing. There's instant messaging, and then there's email. Email is for more detailed or for lengthier correspondence, and it is definitely a far more professional approach, as in you would put a very detailed subject in the subject line, not in capitals. And sorry, I'm going to go off on one here because this is really important. Not in capitals. It should be on point. Dr. Jacqueline, follow-up meeting 7th of May. Boom, you know where that's coming from. And no exclamation mark, because if you have an exclamation mark or you do it in capitals, you're shouting. I would then go and start my email with, Dear Dr. Jacqueline, comma, I trust this email finds you well. Not I hope, because I'm hoping that you're okay. I'm trusting that you're fine, that you're well, that you're doing well. And then I would leave a gap, a paragraph, and then I would start the body of my email. And I would then sign off with kind regards, Philip. And if it's appropriate, I might put a little cross as a kiss, or if it depends who you're writing to, but I'm more talking professional. You wouldn't put the kiss or anything. I would then reread my email. Does it make sense? I mean, again, we have got so many wonderful tools at our fingertips now for spell checks. I use something which is Grammarly. It's a great tool. There's a free version, there's a paid version, but it gives you alternatives of how to word something and using the correct form of English. Because now in this world we live in, we are using acronyms, we're using shortened words. We really are becoming rather lazy in our approach on communication. And look at an email as if you were writing someone a letter. Be very proud about it, be very on point, and be very specific and have that attention to detail. I mean, with all due respect, emails are there that can be read in a line of how the person is receiving it, because don't forget, there's no tone attached to an email, and there's no sort of personality attached to an email. So an email could be sent out to two people, and one person takes it and understands the email, the other person takes a little bit of offense because they don't like the tone of it. So we need to be very clear on our messaging.
Tone is so important, Philip. Thank you for sharing that. I was just talking about tone yesterday in one of the courses that I was teaching, how we come across. And so let's move on to emojis. And I have to say this, I really find when I get a text message and there's no emoji, sometimes I'm sad. I'm like, oh, where's the little emoji? Because it really does kind of change the tone of the text messaging. But if you're sending text messages for business, are emojis appropriate?
I would say so, definitely, because it goes back to the no tone of the message. So if I said to you, Dr. Jacqueline, I'm sending this to you the second time, you haven't responded for the first time, I know you're busy, and then I put a smiley face, I'm not jumping on your shoulders and shouting at you. It's just a little nudge with a bit of a softer nudge. That would, but if I just said that without an emoji, you're going to think, whoa, that's a bit abrupt. That's not normally like Philip. What's going on with Philip, or whatever it is. So the emoji can soften the blow or the message, that's for sure. But over emojiing gets way too much, and the emoji needs to be appropriate. There's so many emojis out there, and what we might think is appropriate, the other person might receive and not take offense, but think it's too familiar. Or so there just needs to be a little bit more time spent on, if you are going to use an emoji, use the appropriate emoji.
And Philip, how many emojis would you say are sufficient? Because it seems like on social media, when they populate the emojis, it's usually 3.
Yeah, 1 or 2 emojis. I mean, I tend to, if I remember to use an emoji and it's appropriate, I would most probably normally send just 1 emoji. And again, instant messaging, that's the term, instant messaging. So Dr. Jacqueline, if you said, Philip, meeting at the coffee shop at 3 o'clock today, I only say, okay, dear, I just can send you a thumbs up, or I can send you, if it's appropriate, a heart, just to say that I've acknowledged that. But having said that, sometimes when you do just send an emoji rather than a message, people often don't see that you've responded. So from my experience, I'll often say, look forward to it, and then a thumbs up, so that you actually see a message coming through your channel.
And that brings me to my next point, because this is one that I often think about. When does the text messaging exchange stop? So if you say, looking forward to seeing you, thumbs up, and then I write back, me too, smiley face, where does it end? Do you then, because then you could feel like, oh, I am now out of it because he didn't respond to the last one.
I think your response there would be final, me too. See you then, and then that's the text messaging closed on that one. I don't know if you ever remember some of those adverts, Dr. Jackson, where mobile phone companies are offering fantastic deals and extra minutes, and there are 2 people on a phone, and goodbye. Are you going to hang up? No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Bye. And they have this joke about you've got so many minutes and you stay on the phone and who's got the last word and blah, blah, blah. But, on a more sort of professional, more sort of friendlier note, there comes a point where you hopefully understand that actually the last message came through. I don't need to respond. We'll follow up and meet at the coffee shop, whatever the message entailed. So yeah, don't overthink these sort of things either.
Thank you for that, Philip. And we're running out of time, but I do have a question for you. So as I mentioned to you, I'm on social media all day and sometimes up until 11 o'clock at night. And I'm typically researching and then posting things. And I'm not that good. I'm being honest. I am not that good with replying to the comments that people leave for the different posts. And I always think to myself, I really should go to every post and respond, because I know that would be proper etiquette, but time just seems to get away and I feel badly about that. Any suggestions on how I can improve that?
I think if you can find an intelligent assistant to do that, that would be an amazing way to get out of jail on that one. It is lovely to comment and respond, especially if the message warrants a nice response. When people go out of their way to say, Dr. Jacqueline, this particular show has given me so much insight and added so much value to my life, then a nice response to that. If someone says great show, you might then send an emoji. It's a big question, that, because hopefully they're all positive messages and you can then respond, and people respect that, and it keeps this energy and this channel going. You're not just another person who doesn't have time to respond. And that's where I think there's a big disconnect in a lot of organizations, is that everything is now automated. There's no personal touch at the other end. And I know it takes time, but with all due respect, you could get a virtual assistant to help you out on there. You could get there is definitely artificial intelligence assistants that I'm pretty sure if you found the right so-called tool under that umbrella, you would be able to sort of be able to respond to those, even if it's not coming directly from you, but you've set it all up.
That's good feedback. Thank you for that. I will take that to heart. So, Philip, what have I not asked you that you would like to discuss today as we close out?
Yeah, I just feel that, you know, when it comes to our social media and our digital correspondence, people need to understand, you know, think before you post, or pause before you post, and think before you say anything. You know, oversharing and gossiping and talking badly about anyone on social media, it's a very dangerous place, and it's not warranted, because it's an element of you're talking behind someone's back and you feel very brave and, hey, I can do this because I'm not in front of someone where they can bop me on the nose or give me a what for verbally. So just, ladies and gentlemen, you know, limit your time on your devices. Be careful what you're posting. And again, don't believe everything you're reading, and definitely don't believe all these beautiful pictures your friends are posting all over the internet and all over their social media. Look at the lifestyle they've got, because not everyone in the world is following that lifestyle. And again, this has a mental negativity. This has a negativity on our mental health. A lot of us think, oh, they're doing X, Y, and Z, and look at poor old me. And again, I really feel that we need to set digital boundaries, and we must do it with grace. And it is an area, for example, if I send you a WhatsApp message, Dr. Jacqueline, and let's say it's 9 o'clock at night, and at 9:15 I'm going, gee, she hasn't answered. What? I should not be acting or behaving like that. It's 9:15 at night. Was it even appropriate for me to send in a message at that time of night? So give people the respite. They might be out for dinner. They might be sleeping. If we send an instant message, we need to be patient and wait for a return. And just one very clear final sort of bit of research that has been adopted throughout the world is that it is a known fact that children, for example, teenagers who have social media and digital devices out there are performing less and more poorly than children who do not have exposure to those elements. They've done tests on this, they've done research on this, so much so that a lot of schools now out there have actually banned social media or banned telephones in school, and have often moved into just the old telephone where you can dial out and send a text message. And it's made a huge difference in the performance at students at school and university. So if you can imagine, as adults, as within the world of responsibility of working and time with people, can you imagine the difference it would make if we started to take control of our devices and our time, rather than allowing the devices to interfere in our lives? And that part of our brain that says, I must check my phone, I must check this, I must be missing out on something, I bet you I could, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, so the whole thing in life is about being situationally aware and having time spent, proper time with people. If you're spending time with family, spend time without your devices. If you're at the dining room table, no devices around. Just get used to not having those devices at arm's length away from you. And you will see how mentally and emotionally you start to sort of serve yourself. Life becomes that much more enjoyable.
I completely agree with you. I know, going back to fitness again, when I go to work out, I leave my phone in the locker, and I've been wearing an Apple Watch for a long time, and I just stopped wearing it about 3 weeks ago. I don't miss all the information. I know it sounds crazy, but you become kind of obsessed with what your heart rate is and how many minutes you walked. And now I'm just not even wearing it. And I just feel a huge sense of relief.
Yeah. And Dr. Chapman, you know, on that note, we've become I think we've become dumber as we've got older, or as we've advanced in so-called this tech world, is that our phones are now on our watches. And so if I'm having a conversation with you and I must check my message while I'm talking to you, it blows my mind. It really does. I've got a Fitbit that tracks my steps, and I can look at that when I want to, but it doesn't ring, it doesn't buzz. It's purely for my heart rate monitor and that sort of thing. That's all I use it for. I'm not distracted by this tiny, ancient Fitbit. And we've become so beholden. We've become prisoners of our devices.
It's very true. And the last thing I want to mention about devices, because I've seen this happen, people literally hide in their device. And what I mean by that is when you have the phone out and if someone is asking you a question, you feel uncomfortable, you immediately you go to the phone. The phone is the go-to. If you're in a class and you're not paying attention, you're bored, you go to the phone. So when the phone's not there, it really commands your attention to whatever the situation is. And so I feel like when the mobile phones first came out, I think my father had one of those bag phones. I think it was like a big bag and the phone was in there. Then there was the car phone. And so the phones were really for emergency purposes. And then it became where our entire life is on the phone. And if you lost the phone, the whole world would come to an end. Yeah. So I think we have to revisit the role that the technology is playing. Like, for example, this computer and the stand that it's on, this means the world to me because my business is here doing this, right? So when I recently had to leave my place because there was a flood, this was the first thing that I went to because I thought if I don't have this computer, because it's my business, right? This is how I do my business on this computer. It was more important than anything else. So if that's not the case, then let's think about how can we be more present when we're with people. So I'm not going to be sitting at the dinner table with this computer open and having conversation. That would be ridiculous.
Absolutely. And horses for courses, you would never do that unless you're on your own or you with a group of people that you've had your get together and you say, now I need to do some work. You excuse yourself. It's just beggars belief what people feel they can get away with. And just to really finish off the show, for anyone out there listening, for anyone who've got children, there's an incredible Instagram post by Matthew McConaughey. He's been interviewed by two well-known celebrity interviewers here in the United States. And he talks about he and his wife not giving their son Levi access to social media until he was 16 or just over 16 and giving him a telephone. And if you think about this, when we give our children social media and access to our devices too early in life, you're opening them up to a world that's going to influence them. It's going to dictate how they grow up, how they behave, how they do things, how they talk, how they interact, how they feel, what they feel they can get away with. And that, in my opinion, is absolutely criminal in every sense of the word. And I say that with very strong sort of conviction. I really do. It is something that absolutely I've seen the world over, where social media has tripped our youngsters up so badly that it's almost undoable to undo that damage. And I can't stress this enough. We don't need these phones really at the end of the day. They've made our lives easier for business and for research. But the social media element of it, quite frankly, it's not necessary. We do not need it.
And Philip, one final comment to that. I recently read somewhere that an A-list celebrity, a man, I can't remember which one it is, he has an old-fashioned flip phone. And he's not on social media. He doesn't even have an email address. I have a very good friend who travels the world helping people, volunteering, and this person doesn't have an email address and is not on social media. So, by the way, we love people on social media because you're watching our shows, so we thank you for that. It's just about the etiquette and manners of when the timing is appropriate. And obviously, if you're sitting with your family members and watching shows or scrolling through things, that can be taken as disrespectful. So I'm really glad that our shows are in the public archives forever, and as long as they last, so that people can watch at their convenience.
Yeah, but this platform, I wouldn't deem it even so. I would use this as a broadcasting channel, as an educational channel. And that's the beauty about digital devices. Absolutely. There are pros. I'm not knocking the channels that deliver amazing education and guidance and steering and instruction. I really, we look at now all our digital instruction, a manual. You can look how you can assemble something or service your car. I'm not against that. It's the same as going to a library or taking out an old encyclopedia. That hopefully people understand where I'm coming from. I'm talking about all the noise that's out there, the noise of, the false this, the false that, the perking and the perking of lips and all these things that add no value. That's where I'm leaning to.
Thank you for clarifying that. That makes perfect sense. Let's take a look at your website and share with people what's coming up that they can get involved in, and then the services that you provide.
Right. Next week, we have Train the Trainer live in London, which is going to be fantastic. It's a follow-on from our Train the Trainer live last year, and we had an incredible week. And then following that, from the 14th of June, we'll be doing the start of our London experience. And again, so looking forward to seeing you that week. It's going to be amazing. There's some wonderful little hidden gems and surprises that will take place that week. We will be running our next Train the Trainer live on Zoom in September. And then, as I mentioned, you heard it here first, November, a live Train the Trainer in person in the United States of America, North Florida. There are so many wonderful programs and courses in our e-learning library. The feedback we get is phenomenal. Don't take my word for it. Go on to CourseCheck. It's the equivalent of TripAdvisor, where people leave their comments. So our website is also an area for information, and you will get lots of value from it. And you can go to the YouTube channel, where we share a lot of insights into various aspects of life and how we can show up to be far more dynamic and better people. And for those of you out there who would like to subscribe to us, we are always drip feeding amazing bits of information on how you can elevate yourself, your organization, your family, friends, all of those aspects.
Thank you so much, Philip. And for people who are listening on an audio only platform, it's the British School of Excellence.com. And the email address is hello, HELLO, at the British School of Excellence.com. Philip, final word before we close out.
Just embrace the opportunity to engage on the USA Global TV and radio platform, because not just our show, but all the shows that are being produced, that are being delivered, add so much value in one's life. Even if you just get half a golden nugget or a whole golden nugget or a couple of golden nuggets, you're walking away with something that'll serve you for the rest of your life. And I just feel that the more we can do as an organization, the more partnering we can do with one another and helping each other, it just starts to hopefully have that ripple effect through the world. And that's what we're here to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are shepherds. We're here to guide and steer people and give them the opportunity to move forward in the right direction.
Very well said, Philip. Thank you so much. And I know you will be off to London, and I will see you there shortly.
In just over 10 days.
Yes, it's so exciting. I've got to get a new suitcase. I've got to be able to keep up with you in the tube running up.
That's why you're doing 3 gym classes a day, right?
Yeah, you're still faster than I am. That's for sure. I can't run up those steps like you can.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you again. It's always I wish we were doing these shows more often, but as you can appreciate, we've got other things to do in between preparing for the shows and preparing for courses and training and coaching. And I'll see you very, very soon.
All right. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Yes, so please do go to the British School of Excellence.com and check out all the different types of courses that they're offering and the upcoming events. And again, I sincerely recommend that you sign up for the Train the Trainer program. If you're a business owner, this can be a game changer for you. I also want to share that we have our own store online where you can purchase logo merchandise. And you might say to yourself, well, why would I want to do that? Because you believe in the principles that we're sharing here, which is world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. And you would feel honored to be part of our community. We would be honored to have you. So we've got hats. I just got this. It came in yesterday. And then we also have all kinds of shirts. I ordered a bunch of things. So this is one of the sweatshirts that we have. And it's made out of really good material. It's very thick, and I think they did a good job on the logo. So I'm going to show the website, but we have different logos and different sizes of logos. So some people are not really big on logos and branding and things like that. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. So this is our store. It's called USA Global TV and Radio, and we're currently having a sale 25% off. So you can come here. I'm actually going to copy the link so that you can have it and go there at your leisure. this is where you can go. And by the way, they ship all over the world with the exception of 4 countries. I think they ship everywhere except Cuba, Afghanistan, and I forget the other 2, but pretty much everywhere in the world you can purchase something and they will deliver it to you. So if you come here, you can scroll down, you can learn about the shop, and then you can see the various products. So we have products that are for people who've been guests on our shows. We have products for people who are TV show hosts, and we have products for people who are fans. So here's I'm a Loyal Fan on USA Global TV and Radio, and obviously comes in all these colors and these various sizes. And right now there's a sale 25% off. So if you are a fan of our network, please consider getting a shirt and taking a picture of yourself with it, and we'll have a special thank you for doing that. And then of course we also have other products that are available. I mentioned hats, we've got coffee mugs, so we've got different types of shirts and different types of hoodies, different types of accessories. We even have things for children. And look at that, your loved one, your little one can be a loyal fan of our network as well. So that's what I want to share with you about that. And again, we'd love to have you take a picture of yourself wearing your logo merchandise from USA Global TV and Radio. All right, we're going to close out now. We're going to hear a few different sponsorships, and I hope you'll take the time to listen and watch and actually take a call to action to connect with our sponsors. They're people who have the same principles and values that we believe in here at USA Global TV and Radio, which again is world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Let's hear first from Philip Sykes and his polished professional sponsorship. Let's take a look at that, and then we will be closing out. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
Lady Ella flies up high, spreading kindness through the sky. With Lord Jack right by her side, through the world they glide. They listen close, they understand, helping creatures in the land.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.